With some development around the presidency, President Bola Tinubu will unveil an energy initiative for Nigeria at the Mission 300 Africa Energy Summit in Tanzania. This plan will be reaffirming Nigeria's commitment to energy security and sustainability. Nigeria's president is among over 20 African leaders in Tanzania to participate in the summit, which is an opportunity for governments, private sector leaders, development partners and civil society to advance the ambitious goal of providing electricity access to 300 million people by 2030. And TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde reports from Dar es Salaam.
Strong commitment to implementing reforms through on-grid and off-grid initiatives aiming to provide electricity access to over 80 million people. According to a 2022 World Bank report, 61% of Nigeria's population had access to electricity, while a significant 73% of rural areas remain off the power grid.
The fact that Africa is able to...
The special advisor to the president on media and public communications say President Tinubu will make an announcement that will crystallize Nigeria's commitment to renewable energy.
The efforts being made for solar energy, for clean energy under this same president, and I'm sure it's just not here just for the fun of it. Mr. President will announce a very dynamic, compact initiative coming from Nigeria.
In a recent report titled Presidency Energy Sector Wrap-Up, Nigeria's energy sector attracted a $6.7 billion investment in 2024 alone. According to the report, $400 million was invested by the federal government in the Presidential Metering Initiative, while $700 million went to clean mobility and cooking. At this Mission 300 Africa Energy Summit in Tanzania, Nigeria seeks to leverage on the financing provided by global developmental partners to meet the 2030 target of ensuring access to electricity for 300 million Africans.
For us in Nigeria, our energy compact is going to be driven by the desired outcome that we have, which is to go to a $1 trillion economy by 2030.
Nigeria is doing the right things. Nigeria needs the right partners. You see other countries get international funding and backing. We need these partners to support Nigeria from this point.
President Bola Tinubu will present Nigeria's energy plan, which will be instrumental in advancing the continent's energy agenda. The Mission 300 Africa Energy Summit has in attendance critical stakeholders, including over 20 African leaders, the World Bank, and the Africa Development Bank. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
All right, let's bring in a State House correspondent who is in Dar es Salaam, Femi Akonde, just for more updates on this. Femi, we've also seen the minister talking about, that's the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, talking about investments coming into the electricity sector. It does seem like government is paying attention. But I understand President Bola Tinubu will be unveiling an energy initiative for Nigeria at the summit. How will it benefit Nigerians?
Hi, Precious. Well, this energy Mission 300 Africa Energy Summit, it's to show the commitment of heads of state in the region to ensuring access to electricity, providing access to electricity for the population, especially for those in the underserved community, because as it stands now, Africa still has about 600 million of its population without access to electricity. What this will do, some people might say it's just a drop in the ocean, looking at the deadline of 2030, which is just about 5 years away. But beyond providing energy, it also has it also have a ripple effect in other sectors that will significantly contribute to the well-being of the citizens in Africa, and also help towards the attainment of the sustainable development goals, especially in terms of health, education, even in agriculture, food security, and all of that. Electricity is critical in ensuring the development of these key sectors. President Bola Tinubu is here to also talk about the reforms of his administration in the energy sector. There has a significant investment in that sector, also partnership with big energy corporations like the Siemens deal we're seeing. There are also some deals coming up shortly that the president is also hoping will come into that sector. And he is saying that indeed is committing to that goal or that desire to ensure that Africa is well electrified and all communities have access to electricity, which is critical to development. Precious.
And I mentioned the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, earlier, saying that the nation's electricity sector is open for investors. Is the president also looking to court investors in Tanzania?
Well, there are quite a number of investors here. We have seen big corporations, big energy corporations here. The president has also held different bilateral meetings on the sideline of this event. We do not know the details of all of that, but we know certainly that the president is always big on attracting foreign direct investment at every stage, every platform he gets. He always says that Nigeria is open for business. I would believe that it's with that same message that he's engaging with the people he's meeting here on the sideline of this event. But he's also talking about investment in renewable energy, especially to help also push Nigeria towards that net zero emission target. And also help accelerate Nigeria's climate action, and also join the world in ensuring that global emissions are reduced, and Nigeria plays its part in that regard. Precious.
Thank you so much, Femi. We know that as soon as that energy plan is unveiled, we'll get more details from you. State House correspondent Femi Akonde live for us in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. We're back here in Nigeria, where the nation's democracy will only flourish when backed by a collaborative approach that brings together government institutions, civil society, the media, and citizens. Now, this is according to stakeholders at this Civic Engagement Conference for a structured conversation on the challenges, prospects, and 2027 elections. Senior reporter Abida Lawal has details.
Conveners of this conference believe that engaging Nigerians at all levels, from grassroots communities to influential stakeholders, is fundamental to creating a resilient democracy. This conference is an avenue to reignite civic engagement, encouraging Nigerians to actively participate in the democratic process and to demand accountability from leaders at every level. Many notable speakers present here agree that there is a huge responsibility on the shoulders of elected leaders to market democracy in terms of quality of governance and disposition to the rule of law.
Nigeria's position regarding the fate of democracy in Africa, particularly in our neighborhood, is to respect the sovereignty of peoples and encourage a return to democracy, because citizens in this country desire that.
It's really going to be huge for Nigeria and other countries to spend the resources and time to strengthen independent constitutional and democratic institutions.
There will be actionable commitment for the government, executive, legislature, judiciary, INEC, the security agencies, civil society, the private sector, and indeed all key stakeholders that can help us to strengthen democracy.
Despite its imperfections, democracy, they say, remains the preferred form of governance that can guarantee individual liberties and rights.
In spite of these challenges, hope is not lost, and the will and the determination of the people can always create conditions where their own political ambition prevails.
The different panels are expected to provide insight on how to re-engineer the economy, which will be the driver of growth and inclusive development. A reflective question on everyone's mind at this conference is that after all the insights and submissions, what is the next line of action? Habida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.
And turning attention now to security, the Niger State Police Command says it is still on the trail of the man who stored explosives in his house, leading to an explosion that killed 3 people and left several others injured in Mashigu. The Commissioner of Police, Ebenezer Danmaman, spoke while parading suspects in Mina. Chinemi Bamiyi reports.
The explosion occurred around 7:30 a.m. on Sunday and was caused by a Nakia explosive, reportedly stored in a rented apartment by a local artisan miner. According to the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, 3 lives were lost in the incident. While parading suspects arrested for various crimes, the Commissioner of Police assured the public that efforts are ongoing to apprehend the man responsible for storing the explosives.
The police expect more from communities. We have rightly distinguished this incident from miners associating with bandits. We expect that community long before now should have known that that kind of business is done by that suspect who is on the run, and should have also given intelligence to law enforcement agencies.
The police also paraded suspects arrested for culpable homicide, vandalism of street lights and armored cables, and this young man that denied committing the crime he was arrested for. We only visited the area where they were fixing street lights, he says. Then the police began to pursue those working there, and we ran away too. But the policemen that chased us saw the houses we ran into, and they came and arrested us. They took us to the area command office and brought out these items and asked us to hold them for photographs as evidence. But truly, we don't even know where they got the items from.
We are working together with him. He now tell me that there is one war in Masuka site. When he called me, when I go there, he said this is how they are going to do it. When I tell my boy we should disconnect it, when we disconnect the line, he now say he's coming, the Jibrin. That we waited for him there, he now go and call vigilante, start beating us, that we are a thief, this and that.
This marks the first suspect parade of the year. The police emphasized their target to reduce crime by 50% through enhanced community partnership and proactive measures. Chenami Bamiyi, TVC News, Mina.
And still on security, the Kano State Commissioner of Police, Salman Garuba, has announced the arrest of a suspect and the recovery of explosives in response to a terror alert in the state. At a press briefing, Mr. Garuba reaffirmed the police's proactive measure to safeguard Kano residents against potential attacks. He disclosed that the suspect fled the state after the alert, with one tracked back to Kano following his departure. CP Garuba emphasized the role of intelligence in preventing threats while highlighting the collaborative efforts with stakeholders to bolster security during the alert. He reassured the public of the police's commitment to maintaining peace and security, urging residents to remain vigilant and cooperate with law enforcement agencies.
There were security alerts while the A2 terrorists attacked Kano, using the advantage obtained on good Tijaniya Mahmoud, which we raised alarm, we informed the public, and we set up machines, cordon the area, and besides, after the alert was raised, some of them left the sticks. Even one left who came from church and returned, and he's a host who has the key to research.
You're watching TVC News at 12. We'll take a break now and return with more stories in a moment. Stay with us.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did they?
TVC News. First with breaking news.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's now turn our attention to the Judiciary, where Justice Sanusi Adomaji of the Kano State High Court has issued an interim order restraining the Inspector General of Police and the police authorities from inviting, arresting, or harassing the chairman of the State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, Buhari Rimigado. The plaintiffs in the suit are the Kano State Attorney General, the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, and its chairman, Buhari Rimigado. The defendants include the Nigerian Police Force, the Inspector General of Police, the AIG Zone 1, the Kano Commissioner of Police, ASP Ahmed Bello, and Bala Inua. The court granted the order on Monday. Meanwhile, the police have dismissed claims that the chairman of the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, Buhari Rimigado, was arrested by its personnel. In a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi, he explained that Mr. Buhari was only invited following a petition received against him by the Inspector General of Police, that's the monitoring unit. He said for his role as a public servant, a respected individual within the society, Mr. Buhari is expected to cooperate with the police to ensure proper investigation is carried out, rather than seeking to create media attention. Mr. Adejobi says any assertions indicating that he was arrested are unfounded and misleading. The Force PRO insists the police remains committed to upholding the rule of law and following due process in all investigations. And to other stories, President Bola Tinubu says unity remains a crucial pillar for sustainable development in the country. The president's message was conveyed by Vice President Kashim Shettima during his visit to Kogi State to inaugurate projects marking the 1 year in office of Governor Usman Ododo. And Michael Lila reports.
The Vice President representing President Bola Tinubu arrives to Obajana airstrip in Kogi State aboard the presidential jet, where he is received by Governor Usman Ododo and other key officials. The Vice President is on a working visit to Kogi State to inaugurate projects undertaken by the governor. His first port of call is the Zone 8 roundabout, where he commissions the Crusher dual carriageway stretching 5 kilometers. The other is a 9-kilometer Zango road along key landmarks such as Army Barracks and GYB Junction, all equipped with street lights. Next was a stakeholders dialogue session at the Muhammadu Buhari Square in Lokoja, attended by notable personalities in the state, where crucial issues were deliberated.
Democracy is an art of choice, and no one must be condemned for his or her fundamental right to agree or disagree. What posterity will not forgive us for is a failure to bring all of our human, material, and mineral resources together to make this beautiful state the greatest in Nigeria.
In his address on behalf of President Tinubu, the Vice President commends Governor Ododo for the milestone achievements in Kogi's journey towards unity and progress.
Dialogue, therefore, is our most practical vehicle to the land of promise. And what better place to begin this journey than Kogi State, a critical pillar of the Nigerian Federation. We are stronger together, just as the rivers are stronger when they meet.
Other prominent Nigerians at the event praised the governor's vision towards ensuring an inclusive government.
This is highly commendable, and we have even gone to the extent of inviting other former governors so that you put your heads together for the development of your great state. That we were able to drive that new direction administration of ours. Today, to the glory of God, That vision is becoming a reality.
Beyond Usman Ododo's first anniversary as governor, stakeholders also committed to working towards the progress of Kogi State, emphasizing unity and shared responsibility. Michael Ila, TVC News, Lokoja.
Now, the Federal Road Safety Corps says it will collaborate with the National Orientation Agency to sensitize the public on the dangers of scooping fuel from petrol tankers in an accident. The Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed said this at a briefing for 2024 end-of-the-year Operation Zero Tolerance Special Patrol at the Corps headquarters in Abuja. Celestina Area reports.
The Federal Road Safety Corps, FROSC, in its continuous quest to ensure safety and security of motorists, embarked on a special patrol exercise tagged Operation Zero Tolerance, which began on the 15th of December 2024 through to the 15th of January 2025. Within this period, a total of 531 crashes were recorded, out of which 169 were fatal, 287 deemed serious, and 75 minor incidents. The Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed says the Corps recorded a 16.2% reduction in road traffic crashes nationwide, with a total of 531 crashes, as opposed to the 634 crashes recorded in the same period in 2023.
Beginning from January to December 2024, we ensured that human and material resources were activated and adequately mobilized to achieve maximum impact.
The Corps collaborated with the Judiciary for special enforcement operations through mobile courts, sitting which yielded positive results, as this led to a significant 26% increase in compliance with road traffic regulations and rules.
The Corps also recorded a reduction in its routine enforcement, as a total of 21,580 traffic offenders were arrested in 2024, as against 29,220 within the same period in 2023.
The Corps recorded a 7% increase in fatalities, as 5,421 people were killed in 2024, as against 5,081 people killed in 2023.
I wish to caution motorists and travelers to avoid excessive speed and overloading as much as possible.
This data says so. The fact that we had more or less traffic offenders within this same period when compared to last year, if you recall the statistics that was given, that will tell you that we are having more people who are becoming more safety conscious and avoiding some of these infractions.
With these measures put in place, the Corps seeks to strengthen efforts in preventing road traffic crashes, as well as ensuring the safety and security of road users. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.
The U.S. State Department has frozen nearly all existing foreign assistance and paused new aid. This is according to an internal memo sent to officials and U.S. embassies abroad. The leaked notice follows President Trump's executive order issued on Monday for a 90-day pause in foreign development assistance, pending a review of efficiencies and consistency with his foreign policy. The United States is the world's biggest international aid donor, spending about $68 billion in 2023, and that's according to government figures. The State Department notice appears to affect everything from development assistance to military aid. It makes exceptions only for emergency food aid and for military funding for Israel and Egypt. It also adds that U.S. officials shall immediately issue stop work orders consistent with the terms of the relevant award until such time as the Secretary shall determine following a review. It also orders a wide-scale review of all foreign assistance to be completed within 85 days to ensure the aid adheres to President Trump's foreign policy goals. That's TVC News at 12. For more updates on the stories we're monitoring, you can visit our website.